What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Cosmic Wonder. Marvel Studios might have just confirmed that Sentry is going to die, not in the Thunderbolts. Sentry and the actor that plays him, Lewis Pullman, has already been confirmed to be in Avengers Doomsday via the chair video. He got a chair himself, Lewis Pullman, so he's not going to die in the Thunderbolts, but they are teasing right now that he is going to die in Doomsday. And I don't think he's a character that's just going to die as a result of an incursion, which is what you might think, because based on the Thunderbolts trailers that we've been seeing, Sentry / the Void is pretty much indestructible. But no, it looks like he might die to Doom for a very, very specific reason. Recently, SFX magazine sat down with the director of the Thunderbolts, Jake Schreier, and asked him a lot of questions, obviously, about the Thunderbolts, but they also talked about Doomsday. And he hinted at a big connection to Avengers Doomsday. In fact, this article is titled, "I was surprised to hear Thunderbolts director hint at how the movie connects to Avengers Doomsday." Now, first and foremost, I'm really glad to read this title and read this article because I think that as we get closer to Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars, everything should start to really connect. It should all start to feel like a very big connected MCU, especially because we have had no buildup for Doctor Doom whatsoever. Now, we haven't heard anything about the Thunderbolts post-credit scene. Hopefully that sets up something for Doctor Doom, but we don't have to wait till the post-credit scene because according to this article, something big is being set up in the movie for Doomsday. The article starts off by stating that the Thunderbolts, of course, is the next big 2025 movie, and fans are already wondering how this is going to go into the future of the MCU, and they state specifically there are questions about how this all ties into the things we know about Avengers Doomsday. And director Jake Schreier dropped hints on how one hero may be the big connection. They state the director was cryptic in his response, but did indicate there's at least one character who will be relevant in Doctor Doom's big plot. And this is a part of Marvel's overall marketing now, since Doctor Doom has not appeared in anything at all. As far as the MCU is concerned, that is, they are using the marketing for other films to start name dropping Doom a lot. And you'll start to notice that a lot. Actors who are going to be appearing in Avengers Doomsday doing promotions for other non-Marvel films are going to be talking about Doomsday a lot. But when asked by SFX magazine how it connects to Avengers Doomsday, this is what director Jake Schreier said. "There might be some stones or pebbles," and he smiled when saying this. "I don't know how you want to rate your rocks. Look, you know the character we're talking about, and you know that there's a level of power involved there that could have an impact going forward. I'm not making Doomsday, so I'm not privy to that." The article then goes on to talk about how really the only person who could stand up against Sentry or the Void, whoever is showing up, or it could be both, is Doctor Doom himself, at least confirmed for the cast so far, which Lewis Pullman, Sentry, is. Now, the Scarlet Witch might be able to do something, but what's most likely happening here is one of two things, and they both involve Doctor Doom. Now, I've seen a lot of comments about this already online, and the biggest thing that I think a lot of people think is going to happen, including myself, is that Doctor Doom could somehow take the powers of Sentry. And this is actually a very interesting plot point for Avengers Doomsday and Doom specifically in all the MCU movies that he's going to appear in, specifically speaking about how he becomes God Emperor Doom, because in the comics, in both Secret Wars comics, he takes the power of the Beyonder or the Beyonders. Doctor Doom is already very strong on his own. He's one of the best sorcerers out there. He's actually the Sorcerer Supreme in some comics, and he is very technologically savvy. And his combination of technology and sorcery have made him a very, very dangerous person. And when that already dangerous person gets the powers of gods, the Beyonders, well, he's pretty much unstoppable. The only issue is Marvel hasn't exactly introduced anything like that in the MCU yet, except for maybe the Celestials, but Marvel has pretty much confirmed that anything in regards to that story with the Eternals, we're not going to see that for a while if we actually do see it again. And even though we saw Tiamat in Captain America Brave New World, I don't think we're going to get any more Celestials. Now, some cosmic beings have been introduced in the MCU, like the Living Tribunal, and we did get Eternity in Thor Love and Thunder. But will they do that for the MCU? Because they haven't really introduced cosmic cosmic entities in the MCU yet, so the casual viewer won't exactly know how big and powerful they really are, which leads many people to believe that Doctor Doom might go around stealing the powers of other very strong characters, and Lewis Pullman's Sentry / The Void would be an excellent character to steal powers from. Now, like I said, that's one of two options, but just because the second option happens doesn't mean that the first won't happen as well. In fact, I do believe they are both going to happen. The second option is that he kills Sentry as a point that Doctor Doom himself would be making, but also a point that Marvel Studios would be making. Since there is no build up to Doctor Doom whatsoever, you have to show how strong he is. You have to show that he's a greater threat than Thanos. If the entire multiverse is at stake and Doctor Doom is the villain, you have to show people that he is the biggest and baddest that we've seen so far. And it actually works out quite nicely that the Thunderbolts is coming out before and they're showing us just how strong Sentry is. It works out nicely because, well, unfortunately, it looks like Doom is going to kill him. So the audience will go, wow, we just saw the Sentry in the Thunderbolts. We know that he's pretty much indestructible. He's unbeatable. But Doom just wiped the floor with him like it was nothing. Doom is a serious villain. And like I said, again, both can be possible. He drains the power from Sentry, which would make sense, that's how he beats him, and takes it for himself, killing Sentry in the process. Now, before we get into what this article also stated about some test screeners' reactions to the Thunderbolts movie, let's talk about if this is a good idea or not, because I love the fact that the Sentry is going to be introduced into the MCU. I love that he's going to be just super powerful, and I also do love the idea of Doom demonstrating how powerful he is by killing Sentry and taking his powers, making him more powerful. But I don't like the fact that Sentry isn't essentially a one and done, but in Doomsday might be used for a plot device. I think it's a good strategy because it will definitely get the point across and it will show that there are stakes. Doom is here not to play around, and Doom will kill people and the whole entire multiverse is at stake. It's serious, but at the same time, I do wish Sentry could stick around for a lot longer. However, after Secret Wars and maybe even after Doomsday, it ultimately won't really matter. We know that Marvel Studios is moving into a new beginning, a new chapter of the MCU, and we're going to get a new universe moving forward. So ultimately, we can get another new Sentry for the new universe moving forward. The same thing goes for Doctor Doom. A lot of people are upset that Doom wasn't built up at all. We don't know any of his backstory. They should have talked a lot about his backstory in Latveria. They should have talked a lot about his backstory with Reed Richards, and we don't even have a main Reed Richards in our universe. But moving forward in the new universe, all of those things can be possible. We can get a main Doom of the MCU, we can get another Sentry, they can recast Iron Man, Captain America, Black Widow, etc. So ultimately, this isn't the worst thing, and it does get the point across that Doctor Doom is not somebody to take lightly. Now, to end this, like I said, SFX magazine did mention that test screenings reactions for the Thunderbolts movie so far have been great. And they reference one reaction that we've heard before, but I'll share it again, as it is pretty great, as they say, people who are kind of upset or feeling kind of jaded with the MCU, that should change after the Thunderbolts. They state, attended a test screening of this near Burbank about 6 weeks ago. I won't say too much, but I think if you're feeling jaded by the cape shit genre, because they're all feeling the same, I would check this one out. The journey it takes the characters on is actually interesting. The team dynamic is great, not unlike Guardians of the Galaxy. And the way the Sentry / Void is executed into the story is really fascinating. So overall, it sounds like, and it looks like based on the trailers, that the Thunderbolts is going to be a great movie. And they are going to set some things up in the movie that ties into Avengers Doomsday, mostly relating with Sentry, like the director said. Do you think Doctor Doom will kill Sentry and take his powers to make a point? And if he does, how do you feel about this? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest MCU news, rumors, or leaks. You can also find us on TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.